Genesis Smith, potentially getting a start. What have you seen out of his growth, and what do you think about him being inserted in the starting lineup?
Well, Genesis has really worked to model his game off of Stooks. So if you've noticed, he's really been playing for us right now 4 positions. We haven't been able to get to our dollar stuff because, just because of the numbers. It's been one of those seasons. But you'll see him at the star position. You'll see him at the free safety position. You'll see him at the boundary safety position, which is really, guys like that, and like Stooks did, as he did in the Oklahoma game, where we had to plug him in late due to injuries, and he ran out there and played corner without playing it since the Mississippi State game, and just was really able to, when they went into their 3-by-1 stuff, be able to lock down that ex-receiver. Guys like that have great value to your football team.
Trayden going out, what do you make of that?
That's a sad situation, for the young man. And I'm not going to slight, the value he has for this football team, because he's very important to this football team as a model, as a player, his unselfishness. When you see him in the Utah game, hurry up, trainers, I got to get out there. I mean, he's taking notes on the sideline. A guy that should be feeling sorry for himself and about his feelings, he is just finding another way to help us win football games. One of the young players missed an assignment on a big play there. Stooks had notes. By the time I got in at halftime, I said, hey, RC, draw it up. He said, Coach, Stooks has already gone through it. I mean, you just can't have that kind of models in your program. And that's the culture that we've worked hard to build within the DB room, but also in the defensive room. And I constantly look for ways to have team-building experiences, and that is one of the best that you can talk about. And that is going to be an example that will live far beyond 2024. I'll constantly use that as an example of what a great teammate looks like.
Coach, based off what you just said there, I mean, it's so easy for all of you to say next man up, but when you have to replace captains like Trayden and Gunner, how do you do that?
Well, that's just all part of the game. It's one of those situations. We've been through this before. This is the nature of this football game. And as I said with Gunner, I'm not going to slight that. Those are important pieces to the success of the game and of our football team. But like I said, Manny went out there and had to start at the Utah game and had a hell of a football game, okay? And then Genesis had to come in and play nickel, where his natural position is field safety, when Stooks went down. So it is next man up, and that is your mentality, and that's why you constantly have to preach to your team that you are a play away. And now you got to be prepared. And that's coming from a guy who backed up a first ballot Hall of Famer in Moon, and they expect still the same production out of you. That's the facts. So you always have to be ready. We preach that constantly. And, I know it's a boring saying, but it is the reality. It is the next man up.
What would you say in terms of the progression of Jack Luttrell, what you've seen from him, and what you hope he might potentially be able to add if his numbers call?
Yeah, Jack is an outstanding athlete, very passionate about the game. And what Jack is learning, like a lot of young players, the game is not played on paper where you run and jump. He's got all those things. The game is played on the grass. And so, many times he's just learning the mental side of the game. Sometimes as young players, you have to go through growing pains. That's the facts of life. And we just got to keep bringing him along. And as coaches, that's where we have to know what can we handle, each player. And I've been spoiled now with Dalton, Gunner, and Stooks. Those are as high IQ players as I've had. And you stick Manu in the middle of the field, I mean, that's the guts of any sport, is the middle of your defense. I go back to when Willis Reed and Chamberlain, I used to say all that. Now those guys are non-existent, but it's the point guard, or it's the catcher, the pitcher, the shortstop, the center fielder. In hockey, it's the goalie. You got to be strong up inside. And so they have had great models in how to do it with Gunner and with Stooks and those guys, and we still have Dalton out there. So, all you can do as a coach, as a football team, it is next man up. Let's go play. Somebody put the ball on the ground, blow a whistle, because BYU will be there. We're going to play. So.
Obviously, injuries, like we've said, are tough to overcome, but much does it help you and your team in terms of having a guy like Emmanuel Parmley, who's developed, Gosh Killebrew, and others that have seen playing time throughout this season, and not just fresh blood that hasn't seen the field?
Yeah, so, they have both kind of, so we have created some depth on the outside pieces. Owen Goss has come in last week and played better. And, that's all we ask is let's just be one play better, one game better, and they're growing in the right way. And, like I said, as a coach, you can look at the cup of water however you choose to, Is it empty? Is it full? And all you can do is talk about the good things that they have done, because there is a lot of positive plays that they have put on tape. And that's what we need to keep embracing and growing on, because that's where it's there, and that's where we're going to move forward with it. And we just got to figure out, as the week wears on, what can we do back there? And if we have to keep cutting so we can execute to play fast, because you guys heard me say it before, I just want to do a few things, but do it real well so we can play, we can run and hit, and I believe that's what this defense has done, because they had a heck of a second half, and, in this last game, there was a lot of tough situations, but to have 7 3-and-outs is phenomenal. Okay, to go in that second half and go 3-and-out, take away, 3-and-out, take away, 3-and-out, and we were short a couple great players at the time. So, hey, let's just jump in there, let's go play, and let's see where it goes.
That's the key to kind of this development of the defense, the progress of the defense, the simplification of go out and play instead of overthinking things out there on the field.
Well, we've been doing that for a lot of years. This is not the first season we have done this. That's what the previous Arizona defenses were built on. And when I went to Texas, that's what we did at Texas. Stanford, it was a little bit more, but when I got there, I kept chopping it down, because it's just so hard to play a bunch of defenses. Let's just feel the ones that, we feel like will fit in this game plan, and what can we execute is always part of it. Because it still comes down to taking what I always say, taking the thinking out of the game, and just see and react. And part of our meetings are that way, where, I'm asking questions in an air-conditioned environment, but I don't want too late. The ball's gone already. Question, answer, so you just reps, just continuing to get reps mentally, wherever we can try to create a situation like that, whether it's in the classroom, we'll have a walkthrough, then it's at practice on the grass, because when you get into the big stadium, and this is going to be another exciting yard. BYU was our rival when I was at the University of Hawaii back in '81, so I lined up against Jim McMahon, Steve Young, and Robbie Bosco. So I've been in that gym. That is an exciting yard to play in. So I'm excited to get back there. It's a great environment.
We asked Coach Bennett about the factor of elevation. What has been your experience with that, and do you think it'll be something that factors in come Saturday?
Only if you think so and talk about it. For us, we don't talk about that. This is decent elevation too. I don't know what it is, but like I said, we played in it back in when we were at the University of Hawaii. I didn't think it was anything big. The problem when we played that the last time was Steve Young. Much more than the elevation.
What do you see from BYU's offense?
It's another very disciplined offense, and you would think, just go look at the ages of those guys. What did they say, 62 children, I think, within their football team? But that's what it is, because you have your redshirt year, you have your mission year, so they're a very mature football team. They're physical. Their quarterback, I think his legs will be involved again, that we got to do a great job with that, as always, managing the run game, very efficient throwing the football. Once again, built much like Utah, I think, with a solid physical defense and an offense that is taking care of the ball. And they have, I think, taken advantage of making plays. And, you know, where we did a really good job in the Utah game, when plays presented itself, we made them, and that's where we were just a little short against Tech, because there was a couple plays that presented themselves. We just needed to finish it. You know, there was a knockdown pass. It could have been an interception and some of those things. So we've worked hard on our takeaway circuit again, as we always do every week. We punched a few out, but there were some other opportunities out there for the defense.
And then Owen Goss will likely have a bigger role than he's had. How would you assess his play and your confidence in him?
You know, he's growing every week. You know, every week he's gotten a little bit better. And, you know, for him, he's following a guy is a tough follow in Stooks, you know, because the bar is so high at that position. And Stooks has done a great job of taking him under the wing and constantly helping with him. So, you know, seeing the game's starting to slow down a little bit for him, which is natural for young players. So I expect him to be a game better. We have the ability to play Genesis there and move some pieces around, you know, and maybe it's a game where Jack will have an opportunity to come in and play. So, you know, right now from my position, you play things by feel a little bit as you watch how they're preparing this week too, and what's on our practice tape.
All right, that's our time.
Yeah, thank you guys. You guys been to BYU before? Oh, it's beautiful. Those mountains and all of that. Yeah.